Hello everyone, welcome to FTE. Feel the English, feel the fragrance of learning. I am A. Ahmed, your presenter. Today we're going to analyze the poem, the sonnet Ozymandias by Percy, Bysshe, Shelley. About the poem or the sonnet Ozymandias. Ozymandias is a sonnet which has been written by Percy, Bysshe, Shelley in a quite different style that follows neither Paterson nor Shakespearean pattern of sonnets. The sonnet was written in 1817 by Shelley and it was published in England's The Examiner in 1818. Although the rhyme scheme and style of the sonnet resemble a Paterson sonnet more particularly with its 8-6 line structure. The speaker or the narrator or the poet herself of the sonnet meets a traveler who tells her about the half-broken statue of the great Egyptian king, popularly known as Ozymandias by the Greeks, Ramses, who is Ramses II or Ramses the Great historically. The headless statue, the trunkless statue, was in a very poor condition, standing on the mighty desert alone, symbolizing the mortality of humankind or human beings and mocking the pride of a great emperor but high-handed emperor. Nothing has survived except the sculptor or the artist's art and his given expression in the statue, his given patience in the statue. Ultimately, the sculptor is greater than the king, as nothing of the king's buildings, monuments, and property lasted except his prideful expression, patience, decorated by the sculptor in the statue. Around the statue there was nothing but the boundless and sandy desert, symbolizing the powerlessness of the king or of Ozymandias. Characters in the poem. The narrator. The poet Percy Bysshe Shelley herself is the narrator, who narrates the condition of the statue of Ozymandias as told by a traveler from an antique land. Ozymandias, Egyptian pharaoh, who is the subject of the traveler's tale in the poem and the central character and subject of the poem or sonnet, symbolizing the mortality of humankind or human beings and unimportance of worldly fame and false status and pleasure. Ozymandias is another name for one of Egypt's most famous rulers, Ramses II, Ramses the Great. Now the sonnet Ozymandias. The sonnet begins with the introduction of the traveler as the poet or the sonneteer Percy Bysshe Shelley reveals the lines of the sonnet or presents the lines of the sonnet in this way, as the traveler told him the story of the broken statue which was in a very poor condition in the desert. Nothing was around the statue but the boundless and mighty desert, the sand, and this desert also symbolizes the destruction, lifelessness. I met a traveler I met a traveller from an antique land who said to vast and trunkless lakes of stone. The poet Percy begins the sonnet introducing the traveller as this story was told by the traveller from an antique land. It is quite possible that the sonnet or the poet P.B. Shelley has not decorated the lines of the sonnet in the same way as the traveller told her. She has decorated the lines, she has imagined further beyond what the traveller said. I met a traveller from an antique land who said to vast and trunkless lakes of stone. To vast and trunkless lakes of stone, stand in the desert, near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered vices lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those patience read, well those patience and cold vices lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor while those patients read which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. The poet is describing the condition of the statue of the great emperor Ozymandias, as told by the traveller from an antique land. She has expresses, she has described the story through the sonnet. To vast and trunkless lakes of stone, the statue is broken, and it is half broken. It is trunkless. Only the legs are standing on the sand, and the head and the upper part of the statue are broken, and they are lying on the sand, or they are in a very poor condition. Near them on the sand, half sunk. The legs are also half sunk, and they are dirty because of the dust and sand. A shattered vices lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those patients read which yet survive. Though the statue of Ozymandias was half broken, it was half sunk, but the face or the head or the upper part of the statue was lying beside the legs. The face was wrinkled, and its lips and its lip was also wrinkled and a snare of cold command. that tell its sculptor well those patients read which yet survive. What is the expression, what is the patience was given by the sculptor uh, even survive, that patience even now survive, though the king is no more, though the artist or the sculptor is no more, but the patience given by the sculptor, by the artist, is here in the face expression from the Bysshe, or from the face or mouth, or mouth lying on the sand. It is the art of an artist, it is the art of a sculptor, the greatness of art. Though the artist is no more, the artist is not present, but his creation, but his art is available in the form of the statue. And from the Bysshe or face of lying on the sand of the statue, half sunk, trunkless and broken, it can easily be understood what was the temper of the king, or what was the nature, behavior of the king, and his prideful and high-handed attitude towards his people. All these facts can easily be understood only from the expression of the Bysshe lying on the sand. This is the art of the artist. This is the art of the sculptor, greatness of the sculptor. Though the statue is lifeless, but the expression from the Bysshe or from the face, and the expression from the standing position of the legs, it can easily be understood the nature of the king, and it can be felt as alive, as a living being. The hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. This line reflects the cruel nature of the king Ozymandias. He was high-handed. He was rich, great emperor, and very prideful, high-handed man. So all these things have been expressed by the art of the sculptor in the form of the statue, half broken, half sunk, among the mighty desert, around which nothing behind, around which there is nothing, only the force of the nature, only the power of the mighty desert. And on the pedestal these words appear: "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty in despair." In these lines, the poet Percy Shelley also expresses what was written in the pedestal of the statue, or on the stamp, or the label. What was the written form in the label of the statue? It may not be correctly presented, or it may not be that it was written these things. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. In this way, it was this sentences were written in the on the pedestal, but it is the poet's expression in a quite correctness of the nature of the king. He has given this expression from herself, and thus she has made the statue a living king. Though it is lifeless, she has offered a new life by his expression. So by her expression, sorry. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. These lines reflects how prideful the emperor or Ozymandias was, and how high-handed he was. He was not kind to the poor. He was great emperor by his power and his mightiness, not by his kind or grace. He had done many works, mighty works, for himself and for his kingdom. He made buildings and so on. Nothing beside remains. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level suns stretch far away. Though the art of the artist or the sculptor survives yet today in the form of that statue, the patience he gave to the statue also survives, but there is nothing around the statue except the boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. No buildings, no monuments, no any belongings of the king survive, but the patience given by the artist, given by the sculptor, and his creation survives. This is the power of an artist. Thus, the artist is greater than the king, though the king or the emperor was a great emperor at that time in ancient Greek, or he was Egyptian. But the fact is that his power, his greatness is nothing more, is no more. But the greatness of an artist always survive. An artist is always immortal. Metaphorically, he is immortal because of his art, because of his creation, because of his given patience in the work, in his works. And thus an artist is always immortal, metaphorically, though physically he is not immortal, he is mortal as a human being. And man is mortal. No man can survive forever. and worldly pleasures and worldly things have no values in reality. Though we are so prideful to our properties and to our goods, etc., these things are temporary, not lasting forever. But what we do in this world, how we behave with the people, these things always remain in the mind and heart of the people. And what we create, our art, will remain. But our existence and our properties, our goods, our buildings, our all other things will never remain. This will destroy one day in the pit of history. They will vanish in the pit of history. This is the reality of human beings. The broken, half-sunk, and the poor-conditioned statue of Ozymandias, the great emperor of the ancient Egypt, represents the helplessness, the powerlessness of the king, and also symbolizes the mortality of human beings. The writings on the pedestal of the statue represents the behavior, the attitude of the king, and the patience given by the sculptor represents the art of the sculptor, the creation of the sculptor, the greatness of the sculptor, his immortality in the form of the statue, in the form of his creation, has been presented in the sonnet by Percy, Bysshe, Shelley. And on the other hand, the sculptor is more important, and he is greater than the king on the other way, as his statue survives, and the expression and patience reflected in the statue also helped the poet or the sonnet to create a new art of poetry. So one artist can help another artist, and thus the generation of art flows, and the artist become immortal in our mind and heart. And human beings are temporary. So these things have been presented in the sonnet by Percy, Bysshe, Shelley. The boundless and bare desert around the statue also reflects or reveals the helplessness and powerlessness of the king. Though we build buildings, high buildings, monuments, etc., nothing of those survive today. But only the art of the artist, though he was not so respected at that time by the king, he was regarded very junior or very small compared to the king or the emperor Ozymandias. But His art survives, and this way the artist or the sculptor is greater than that of Ozymandias. So this is the analysis of the sonnet Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Hope that you have learned something from this analysis and you like the video. So please hit the like button if you like the video, and also don't hesitate to support, because your supporting is at most essential. So keep supporting us. Please subscribe to our channel and also press the bell icon to get regular updates. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving your valuable time. Please like, comment and share. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day. May God bless you. Thank you.